The biggest star in the WNBA is out. Caitlin Clark, captain of Team Clark, media centerpiece, and the face of the entire league, is officially out of the 2025 WNBA All-Star Weekend. Not just the game, not just the three-point contest. She's out of everything. And the reason? Injury. Again. Clark re-aggravated her groin in the final minute of a high-stakes game against Connecticut. But this isn't just about one injury. This is about a season full of physical punishment, about a rookie being run into the ground, and about a league that seems to be riding her wave without giving her a life jacket. Let's be real. Clark's injury isn't just unfortunate, it's inevitable. And fans are right to ask the hard question. Did the WNBA's brutal schedule, relentless physicality, and over-the-top media demands break Caitlin Clark before the All-Star game could even begin? We're diving into the full story. You'll hear the reactions, the fallout, the behind-the-scenes decisions, and yes, the media spin. These aren't just clips. These are the raw, unfiltered receipts. The W keeps trying to control the narrative, but we're here to tell the truth. Help us hit 1K subs so we can keep digging deeper. Subscribe now if you're tired of the spin. Here's how the WNBA's biggest star got sidelined by the very league that needed her most.
We do start our show, though, with unfortunate news out of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark announced today that she will miss both the three-point contest and the WNBA All-Star Game this upcoming weekend in Indiana after re-aggravating a groin injury in that final minute of Tuesday's win over the Connecticut Sun. Clark had missed 4 games and the Commissioner's Cup final with that groin injury earlier this month, and now will be out for this weekend's festivities, which really stinks for fans, but you know that if there was any way that she could be out there, she would be.
This is Clark's official exit, stated through team media. Notice how quickly the statement jumps from the disappointment of fans to a controlled message about helping coach. But the tone is clear. She's hurt. Again. And while the words are calm and supportive, this is not just a soft injury rest. This is a full shutdown in the league's most publicized event of the year. After being celebrated as the future of the W, Clark won't be shooting a single three, not even walking the orange carpet. And if you think that's just bad timing, think again. This is the result of too many games, not enough rest, and an organization leaning hard on its biggest name until her body said no.
Said after the MRI, but I would imagine that Caitlin Clark will be sitting out around the same amount of time, or at least for a while. And this is a chance for her to get an actual All-Star break, to not play. I mean, the Fever don't play again until Tuesday back in Brooklyn. Not to say she's playing in that game, but that is a week, right? That's a week, and that gives her some time to heal. And this gives her a chance to be on the sideline without missing too many games.
The phrase actual All-Star break says everything. This wasn't a break. It was supposed to be a crown jewel. Yet for Clark, it became survival mode. Between the left groin, right groin, and recurring quad injuries, the league's most durable college player has suddenly become the most fragile pro. But why? Because the WNBA's compressed schedule, increased media expectations, and unprecedented physical pressure have ground her down. What was framed as a choice to rest is really a necessity, because there's no time to recover when you're the face of everything. Even her recovery is getting broadcast.
Check out what you guys got to say down below.
I wanted to see the one from earlier because the one from earlier is the bread and butter. That's when she blatantly, once again, lied to our face, talking about his day-to-day with this Caitlin Clark injury, all these different scenarios they're playing out. And me personally, I feel like they're just not.
This is the part that hits hard. Clark isn't just opting out for health, she's opting out of being used. For weeks, her name has been plastered across all-star promotions. Ticket sales soared, but was she ever truly going to play? Did the WNBA push the narrative for attention, knowing full well her groin wasn't ready? By stepping out publicly, Clark stopped the speculation, and possibly the exploitation. In a year where NIL and media rights dominate every conversation, this moment draws a sharp line. Caitlin Clark is not a product. She's a person.
That's not a crazy outcome right now. And to be honest, I think that would be probably hard on anyone. Because let's be real, I don't know if there's a player that likes to play basketball more than Caitlin Clark. The actual sport. Like all the other stuff around it, she's got zero time. Like she couldn't care less about some other stuff. She couldn't care less. And I don't think she wanted to be at the orange carpet last year. She was just there. And when it comes to it this year, like, I'd say she just said, you know what, it's not worth it. I gotta, show up on Saturday and help out the team coach. And
Let that sink in. Clark hasn't had 10 straight healthy days since April. This isn't load management. This is a crisis. You don't need to be a sports doctor to know. Constant re-injury, especially on both sides of the body, means something systemic is wrong. Either her body is breaking down under the stress, or the system is breaking her. And if recovery takes longer than expected, Clark may not even be fully ready for next season. That's the reality the league is now forced to reckon with. You can't build your empire on a cracked foundation.
Yeah, well, certainly a bummer, I think, across all of Indianapolis, all of the WNBA world to hear this news. And we know that yesterday, Stephanie White told us reporters that it was a decision that Caitlin Clark and her team would be making, that she was going to stay out of it. And it was going to be something that they had to consider. Yes, how exciting and fun and important it would have been to have her participate in this weekend's festivities, but at the same time that they needed to take into consideration her long-term health, especially because now this is the 4th separate injury that she's had since the preseason, and knowing the second half of the season is coming up, knowing that the fever...
4 injuries, 1 season, and we're just at halftime. Caitlin Clark's rookie year has become a clinic in overexposure. Her absence from All-Star Weekend isn't just disappointing, it's revealing. The decision to sit is less about missing a party and more about survival. With playoffs still on the table, Clark's camp made the only smart move left. But if she's sitting now, with national cameras rolling and sponsors watching, that tells us everything we need to know about how severe things really are, and how much worse it could have gotten if she suited up.
But part of the entire story here, injuries happen, right? They're a part of sports. You're not going to be able to control all injuries. But the way that the WNBA schedule has unfolded this season has certainly had people scratching their heads and questioning things. That includes the New York Liberty coach, who was also asked about the condensed schedule.
Here's the truth that coaches and players are finally admitting. The WNBA schedule is broken. Teams are playing 4 games in 6 days, across multiple time zones, with little to no recovery in between. For veterans, it's grueling. For a rookie like Clark, who's also the league's #1 media attraction, it's devastating. This isn't just about load, it's about liability. When a superstar like Caitlin goes down, and it happens after a series of jam-packed travel-heavy weeks, you can't just call it bad luck. The system is forcing its stars to break down, and Clark is the proof.
2 days ago, Caitlin Clark looked like she sustained a gruesome groin injury. The photo went viral. She was crying immediately and put a towel over her head. With all of that being said, she released a statement on Twitter. This is what she had to say. She stated, "I'm so excited for Indy to host WNBA All-Star this weekend. I want to thank Indianapolis."
That viral image of Clark doubled over, towel covering her face, was more than just a painful moment. It was symbolic. For the league, it was the instant everything cracked. The player who had carried ratings, headlines, and jersey sales all season was now literally carried off the court. And it was public. The fans saw it. The media couldn't ignore it. The photo told the story better than any press release ever could. This wasn't just another bump, it was a breakdown. One that the WNBA didn't prepare for, and now can't hide.
Missing a 3-point contest. I backed out of the NBA 3-point contest just because I wanted the first one to be in Indiana. Like, she backed out of getting to go to the NBA All-Star Weekend and shoot against Steph Curry. She backed out of that. So, like, I assume she's going to do that next year. I assume that's going to be the thing. But, like, if Caitlin continues to shoot 20-something% from 3, I don't know if that's going to be still a thing.
Talk about irony. Clark skipped the chance to go head-to-head with Steph Curry on the NBA stage, just so she could debut in her home state for the WNBA All-Star. That moment was meant to be epic, but instead, she's sidelined. That sacrifice? It ended up meaning nothing. Worse, it shows how deeply Clark tried to invest in this league, and how quickly the league's demands pulled the rug from under her. The WNBA didn't just lose a performance. They lost the climax to the biggest promotional push they've ever had.
Sandy Brondello. Now, the other aspect of all this injury stuff is also the physicality with which defenders are allowed to play with. And it's not just, Caitlin Clark that's coming up with. It's also Becky Hammon said this, the Aces head coach. The physicality is out of control. I think the freedom of movement is a joke. There is no freedom of movement. It's not.
This is the part no one wants to say out loud. The way Caitlin Clark is defended borders on reckless. Two head coaches, Becky Hammon and Stephanie White, are sounding alarms. And they're not doing it because Clark is soft, they're doing it because she's being mugged every game. The WNBA advertises a beautiful flowing game, but what Clark experiences is 40 minutes of wrestling. You want to know why she's injured? Watch the film. And until the league enforces freedom of movement like it promises, more stars will follow her to the sideline.
And everything, she's had her first, second, third, and fourth injury of the last decade in the last 2 months. She's been injured 4 times in the last 2.5 months. She has not had more than 10 consecutive healthy days in 2.5 since the start of training camp.
Let's stop sugarcoating this. Clark isn't resting. She's breaking down. For a player who never missed time in college to suddenly suffer 4 injuries in 2 months, that's catastrophic. No training program can fix that overnight. And it raises real questions about how the WNBA is managing, not just promoting its stars. Because when your biggest name can't stay upright, it's not just a player problem, it's a system problem. And the system just benched its MVP. So here we are. The All-Star game is rolling into Indianapolis, Clark's home turf. Her jersey is still on posters. Her name is still on tickets, but she won't be on the court. And maybe she shouldn't be, because this goes way deeper than a pulled groin. Caitlin Clark's absence is a flashing red warning light for the WNBA. The schedule is too tight, the travel is too brutal, the physicality is unchecked, and the expectations on one 22-year-old are out of control. The league wanted a face, a savior, a walking highlight reel to slap on every ad, every press release, every ticket stub. And they got her. Clark delivered in every way. Sold out arenas, record ratings, jaw-dropping plays. But what did the WNBA give her in return? Endless back-to-backs, constant media obligations, no protection from defenders who treat her like a tackling dummy. And when her body started breaking down, she had to be the one to step away. Not the league, not her coach, not the commissioner. Clark had to pull herself out. And now, the crown jewel of the WNBA season, the All-Star Game, will go on without its star. Ask yourself this: what's the message here? That success comes with sacrifice? That women's sports finally has a superstar, and it's okay if we run her into the ground before year 1 is even over? Or that the system needs to change before it chews up the very players it claims to elevate? Because here's the uncomfortable truth: Caitlin Clark didn't just get hurt, she got used. And if something doesn't change, fast, this won't be the last time we see a star disappear right when the cameras are rolling. Let us know what you think. Is the WNBA overworking its biggest star? Did Clark make the right call? And most of all, what needs to change before the next face of the league ends up in the same position? Drop a comment, hit like, and subscribe, because this story is far from over.